What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Legends of Venari grid playtest. As of 2 hours ago, the playtest is officially over, so I wanted to get out and make a video. I know I said I would try to do daily videos, but honestly, my energy levels with having two kids and work and everything else going on, I'm not at the level of which I would like to be, and I just didn't play as much as I would like to be playing. So we'll get into some of the points later on as to what I think could help with the AFK away time. And yeah, so let's just get into it. So graphically, I think the game looks really good. It runs really smooth, basically at maxed out settings. I did not have very many issues with screen tearing or anything of that nature throughout the playtest, even while recording the gameplay with OBS and running RuneScape, watching YouTube, and doing all of the other things that I'll be doing on my computer while recording. I basically have my computer maxed out 90% of the time, and it was great. No issues there. So if you have a decent computer, it'll be pretty easy to play. I don't know what it would be like on, say, a laptop or anything of that aspect. I did not attempt to play on my laptop, which now thinking back, I think I should have tried just to get, an idea and give the team kind of a baseline of different specs. Obviously, I think they assume that lower specs it's not going to run as well. Now, into the mechanics of the game, I'd say they were relatively simple to learn and understand. It reminds me a lot of Pokemon and Pokemon Go in general. More so the newer Pokemon where like you're running and you have overworld spawns. I think having random encounters entered into the game would be pretty cool. That could be fun and spice it up a little bit as well. In terms of the Pokemon Go, like the battling aspect of it, right? Even the overworld spawns are very similar to Pokemon Go, but the battle aspects a lot are very similar to Go. I like them. They're pretty simple, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad, but like as Venari's level and you learn the different advantages of the Venari, and then learn the swap advantages and implement all of that into your play style, I see it being semi difficult and competitive, right? Like Pokemon Go in its sense is competitive as well. They play that on the VCT main stage. So, yeah, there's hope for that in the future. I'm excited to see how that progresses and just like see how the overall skill gap will be once we all have maxed out Venaris and once we learn the world a little bit more. So I'm really excited for that. On to the next point, I think it would be cool if the resource gathering also led to passive Venari essence gain. So I get that could kind of ruin the economy and lead to power leveling in a way, but I think overall it would feel a little bit more useful for the time sink that you put into gathering the resources. Like, yes, you get elemental essence from it, but I think gaining the Venari specific essence could be useful. I don't know, maybe not, seeing as we get the elemental essence, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm overlooking it in a way, but I think that was something that I thought of early on. And looking back at it now, I don't necessarily know if it would make sense since we do get the base essence. I think the Venari essence gain would be useful for rare Venari. I think that's kind of where my mindset was at. So the uncommon Venari that could help with leveling those Venari without having to spend hours hunting. So that's I think where that concept came in. So yeah, the amount of different tasks that you can focus on and do at the same time makes it feel high intensity. Um, it can be high intensity, or you can also do it super chill. So like I was saying, you can do the AFK resource gathering, or you can do the I'm running through looking for Venari, clicking on trees, clicking on rocks, and having my Venari gather resources while I'm looking for Venari to battle, and then battling that Venari and moving forward. So that's kind of my spiel. We're 5 minutes in. Let's move forward to my actual improvement ideas. Some of these are very early on, and I haven't actually looked at this list very much since the early on. I have added to it, but again, I haven't went back. So some of these might not apply anymore, and we'll critique them as we go. But I was thinking middle mouse button to click and move the camera in a 360 fashion, same as the current left click, but also keeping the zoom into the middle mouse. Um, so I play a lot of RuneScape and different RPG MMO games, and often middle mouse is the 360 camera move as well as the zoom, and then left click is to click and move your player around the map. That's one of the other things that I had suggested, maybe a click to move option. I know other people have suggested that as well, other than using WASD. Maybe some sort of like auto walk or run feature where you just double click W to move, and then use your mouse to turn your character where you're trying to go. That would be nice. Or maybe like location targeting, where you would click on the actual map spot in the grid, and your character would walk to that location on the grid based on the map. So those are like the big things with movement that I think could help enhance or maybe change the game a little bit into a more fleshed out, more common play style. Um, and then another big thing would be adding in shortcut keys for like the inventory settings, messages, all of those things, right? Just to make it a little bit easier. So when you're running, say you want to look at your inventory, you press I and that opens up your inventory, seeing as E is set to the emotes for waving. And then, you could have your settings set to, who knows, escape even. Have the double up on escape, where escape opens up settings and escape also closes out menus. I think that would be really big. Escape closing out menus would help a lot. A click to deposit the items rather than drag would be great. Mass depositing of items would be awesome. I think another big item that we could look at is a TP to the hub and or resource locations similar to the hub within the map as you get deeper into the map. Maybe one or two different stations outside of the main hub that you can heal up at and access your storage from would be pretty prime in my opinion. I know it's not necessarily ideal, but I think it would help with the overall balance and quality of life in the game. I know you're supposed to bring healing food and all of that stuff, but it's time consuming, right, to do all of those things, which I mean, we do want a time sink, but I think we also want the game to be enjoyable. And I think having locations to where you can access your stuff and heal up as you get deeper into the map would be useful. Like even if it's just one in like the 7 to 8 area, it would, I don't know, but we'll see how the worlds change as we move forward, right? Not everything's going to be super simple. With the design that they had now, they kind of kept it to a super simple design where the higher level Venari were in the back, and you had to run out there to get them and then do your thing and come back. So it makes it a little bit more challenging and more of a time sink, but I think moving forward, the idea is that some of the lower level maps will be the lower level Venari, and then the higher level maps will have the higher tier and higher level Venari. So I don't know, that it might not necessarily be a point to look at in the future, but it's something that I think could help. With that, also a TP to the hub with some sort of a cooldown to it, like a 15-minute cooldown. Maybe some sort of item that goes alongside of that you could unlock, like some sort of teleportation scroll that costs a decent amount of resources to create, just to make later gameplay a little bit more enjoyable. Early on, I see the reason to not have it, and just having the base TP with the cooldown could be useful. And then as you progress, similar to the polished core seal, you'll have some sort of scroll that you could create that will teleport you to home base, basically. And or some sort of like teleport tablet that you could create that has a set amount of teleports per day. Some sort of item, right, that you can hold in your inventory. It's going to take up a slot. It's going to kill space in your inventory, but it's also going to benefit you in some sort of way, and you're going to have to use it wisely because it costs X amount to use it, right? I think both implementations could be a big thing. Again, kind of drawing off of RuneScape's, they have their teleport to home spell, which comes stock, and that has a 30-minute cooldown. And then you can also get teleportation spells as you level, and or you can get the teleportation items. I think to fit alongside the Legends of Venari, we would want items of teleportation and or maybe fast travel with our rideable Venaris or Mount Venaris in the future. That kind of just came into my mind as we're sitting here. So a lot of things that, I'm thinking of. So random encounters is on this list. We kind of talked about that earlier, but, it would be cool to have random encounters happening. On top of that, I think the like the AFK bait placement should come back in some sort of way. So like there should be a few spots along the map where you can place the OG baits essentially, and then come back in say 30 minutes to a few hours, and there will be a Venari waiting for you in some sort of hidden, you click it and then it's like it starts a Venari encounter. I think that could be really good and useful for people like myself that don't essentially have all day to sit and play the game. That would kind of bring back that OG vibe and the AFK and the set, wait, and enjoy your time portion of the mini game. So I think I don't know. I think that could be a huge advancement for the searching and hunting of Venari. And then from there, let's see, what else do we have? I was saying the battle start camera kind of needs adjustment. Sometimes you end up in the trees or unable to see the battle and need to manually adjust and fix it. So it could be better to just let us keep the angle that we started with when we go into the battle for the random encounters. For the the encounters, and then like for random encounters we could do some sort of camera, battle camera. Either way, I think both are good. I just think it needs adjustments in its current state to make it a little bit better, because every time I would end up automatically just switching back the camera for the most part if I was near trees. Realistically, as long as you're not near trees, you really don't have much of an issue. But yeah, so that's that one. And then I think a big thing, attacks should stop during taming. So there was like multiple times where I killed off a Venari because the Venari that I was obviously in battle with, or using to battle the other Venari, just kept attacking. I think once when you're in some sort of animation like that, like the taming, it should stop. The battle should pause in some sort of a way. Obviously, I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be or it was like an overlooked thing, but I think the biggest thing is when I'm putting out the core to tame it, I think my attack should stop, and then it can resume obviously once it's out of the taming scene. But yeah. The the last note is the poison damage is insane. If you get a proc off for the poison, it's pretty gnarly. I would say so myself. I used the Naharis and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was one of my favorite Venari to have throughout the game. So let's go ahead. We're gonna take a look at our final inventory one time here. So we ended up with 35 Venari. And we filter this out over here to the ice and nature Venari. We did not get any of the other elemental Venari or hybrid Venari. I unfortunately, just like I said, did not have a lot of time to play, and sitting there and hunting for hours on end isn't really a thing. They did have golden in there. I guess it didn't have an option to check it, so maybe they didn't have a golden in the game, or maybe they did release a golden into the game. We're gonna go ahead and level up this Mika one more time. Got level 7 on the ice Mika. The other part of me not wanting to dump a bunch of time into this is it all gets wiped. So once you have completed the tasks for the airdrop, it's kind of like, well, you could keep playing, look for bugs and do all of that stuff. if you're really into it. And I played a little bit. I played, I'd say, like 3 or 4 hours outside of all of the video that I've recorded, and it's fun. But again, it's a time sink. So I wish we could have the AFK bait placement. Really, I think that'd be like one of the biggest quality of life changes for someone like myself who doesn't necessarily have a lot of time to play. Um, Wants to dump, like 3 to 4 hours a day into playing, searching for Venari, and then setting up the baits to do the passive hunting. So yeah, overall, I had a really good time. I enjoyed myself. I appreciate the team, and hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the game so that we can share with the team. They do watch the videos and look at the comments, and I can share them with the people that matter as well over there. So um, any feedback is appreciated on all fronts. And until next time, we're going to take a little run through the glowing forest. I'll see you then. Peace.